before my senior year in college, he actually offered my brother a grad assistant job here, and my brother he told him about me. And the way it worked, I came down to work camp with him, and we kind of got to know each other that way. And he offered me the GA spot, at grad assistant spot, and during that year, I played my senior year out and stayed in touch with Sam. And at Christmas time, he called me, asked me if I still wanted the job, and I said yes. And he told me, and from day one, he told me if something better comes along, if a Division I job comes along, then take it. But his top assistant coach ended up leaving, taking a high school job, and his other assistant coach did the same. He pursued high school opportunities, and then it happened to work out where, and I slid right into the assistant job, and spent 4 years here. My relationship with Coach Walker from day one was he's been family. I mean, I went over to his house multiple times a week for dinner, and not only is he family, he's been a mentor. He's my first head coach that I worked for, and I've learned everything from him. He's always encouraged me. Coach Walker's always encouraged me. Since day one, like I said, he always wanted me to not only do well here, but he wanted me to be the best person I could be. He wanted me to pursue other opportunities, and he always, even after my first year, encouraged me to go look at other jobs, interview other places, and he always wanted the best for me. He's an incredible human being, and that's the one thing about Coach Walker is that not only is he a great basketball coach, but he's an incredible human being, and that's probably the best thing about working for him is that he genuinely cares about this community, he genuinely cares about his family, and he genuinely cares about his players. And I think that's why his players play so well for him, is because they know that no matter what, he's the kind of guy that he cares about you. And he treats me that same way. Like I said, he's been family to me. And just knowing how he really cares about me, how he really feels about me, I grew more with him and in his 4 years here than I think I have in the rest of the 20-something years I've been on this earth. So. Coach Walker affected my coaching style because he was just different from the coaches I played for, and him being the first coach that I actually worked for. It's interesting. If you know Coach Walker, he's a very intense guy. And me jumping into the situation in my first season with him, I didn't really know what to expect. I'd heard some stories about him and about how intense he is, but he cares about making sure guys graduate, making sure guys are growing as young men, and then he gets the most out of them on the court. And I could go into details and talk basketball X and O's, but I won't. But in terms of, you're always going to play defense with Sam Walker. His teams are always going to play hard, and in February and March, his teams are always going to be ready to play playoff basketball. And he's always teaching. That's the one thing I say about Coach Walker is that he's a teacher. He's always teaching. If you can find a teaching moment in something, he's going to do that. Coach Walker influences the players differently than the coaches because the players somewhat fear him. I know Coach Walker off the court, and we're able to talk, and we still talk all the time right now. But there's a fear level with Coach Walker in the locker room, and it doesn't matter how big you are or how small you are. I don't think any of the players would ever mess with Coach Walker, but I know that all the players would have his back 100%. And so, the one thing that's in common is he's teaching both of us. I'm learning from him in the office. I learn from him every day, working for him on the bench. But that I know the other side of Coach Walker in terms of there's a lot more jokes and a lot more laughter going on in the office especially when we're not in season. In season, he's still intense, but like I said, those players, they respect Coach Walker, but they definitely fear him. The most memorable memory of Coach Walker had to be my first year. We started out the season 0-5, and this being my first year, didn't really know what to expect. It was a new situation for me. It was a brand new athletic director for him, and just a lot going on that season. And we went from being an 0-5 team to going to the conference tournament and barely making it to the conference tournament. And I remember him, he only everybody had their bags packed. We're excited about the conference tournament, and he had his suit on a hanger, and he had like an overnight bag, and that was it. He was expecting to be there for one day, get on the bus, go out there, and come back. And we have an upset the first round. We beat Abilene Christian, and they're one of the top teams in the region. So that night we have to go to Walmart, and we're buying them shaving cream, we're buying them razors and all that, and then we end up going all the way to the conference championship our first year after starting out the season 0-5, and we lost by 2 points to Central Oklahoma, and that has to be my most memorable moment because he didn't expect to be there more than one night, and he wore the same suit for 3 games, and we had an All-American that year, and one of my favorite players who's on the wall now, Kevin Weidman, who has since passed away playing basketball, but that team and the way we came together and the way he was at the conference tournament, that's probably my most memorable memory of Coach Walker. My second season here, he decided he wanted to watch The Sopranos, and he watched an episode a day at least. And everything was about The Sopranos that season. And one day I came in the office after a game, and we had some certain situations going on, and he was sitting there, and he's just real intense, and he's thinking to himself, he's like, I don't know, man. I'm just wondering, what would Tony do in this situation? I'm like, who is Tony? She's like, Sopranos. What would Tony do in this situation? And I mean, from then on out, everything that season was about Tony Soprano. And it's funny, for Christmas, he brought me season 1 and season 2 of The Sopranos, and he's been waiting to give it to me. I've seen him probably 4 times since Christmas, actually. And being here, I'm here in town recruiting, and he came, and I finally got my 2 seasons of Sopranos. So I may be Tony Soprano the next couple of weeks or next few months. The power of mentorship and the power of Coach Walker's mentorship. I mean, even my brother, who he did not hire, he offered a job to. He's still a mentor to my brother. My brother he actually coaches at Abilene Christian, but he's somebody that I know they talk on a regular basis just about basketball and about he's somebody that a lot of people in this business look up to, and talk about Ross Hodge, who worked here, and he's now at Colorado State, and Colorado State's cracked the top 25 in the country, Division I, and the people that mentored him, from Coach Peak and his junior college coach Navarro to Coach Estelle, who they were both assistant coaches at Navarro. His whole circle of coaches, people that he's mentored, they're my circle now, and it's funny, man, just how they've become family, and even the people that I've brought into this program. In terms of he allowed me to hire grad assistants in this program and student assistants, and everybody that I've tried to mentor for being an assistant coach here, and the people that were under me, they're all, Coach Walker's mentees as well. And it's something that, like I said, his care for people and the way he treats people, it's something that I've learned that why he's so successful is that because of the way he treats people, people want to not only play hard for him, but people in the community want to give back to the program, and his players always want to come back and help out, and that's if you talk to a former player, everybody has nothing but positive things to say about Coach Walker, and so I've taken that, and that's the one thing in coaching and just in living that I'm going to try to do is just give back as much as I can. Coach Peak opened the door for Coach Walker, and Coach Walker has opened so many doors for me. I feel like it's my job. I have to give back as well. It's funny. Before the season, even last year, we were talking about him being an all-time winners coach here, and I really wanted him to get it last year, and he didn't have the season that he wanted to. That was my first year being gone, but a lot of the players that I recruited, Brad Hamrick and Desmond King, guys that were all conference, I wanted them to be a part of that memory, but him being an all-time winners coach here is well deserved. He lives and breathes commerce and A&M commerce. He bleeds blue and gold. I tell you one thing about Coach Walker is every year that I was an assistant coach here, he was offered a job somewhere else. Got offered a Division I job after my first year, and has been offered several Division II jobs. And he always listened to what athletic directors had to say and what the presidents had to say. But at the end of the day, it wasn't Commerce, Texas. His family is deeply rooted here, and he's a major part of the community here in Commerce, Texas. And for him to be the all-time winningest coach, I think it's well deserved, because I don't see him ever leaving here. I'm waiting on that statue outside of the field house of Coach Walker. That needs to be coming sometime soon. Or Sam Walker Court. Sam Walker filled out something. We got to get that on the court. We got to get that done. I'm a competitor, so I'm going to say myself. If me and Coach Walker are on the court together, it's going to be a battle. I tell you one thing. It's going to be a battle no matter what. But me being a competitor, I have to say myself, knowing that I know everything that he's taught me, and he's taught me a lot of things, and hopefully I can throw some new things at him. But I know that it's going to be a competitive game. It's going to be a battle at the end of the day. Win or lose, it's like the Harbaugh brothers in the Super Bowl. I mean, you're playing against families. That's always tough to do, but win or lose, it's going to be a good game, and it'll be nothing but respect and love after the game. Since A&M Commerce, I was hired at Texas State University, and it's been great. My first year there, we were in the Southland Conference, and since then, this year, we've moved to the Western Athletic Conference, the WAC. And my last year here at A&M Commerce, he promoted me to associate head coach, and I was able to be involved in almost every facet of the program. But the one thing I didn't do was the scheduling. He always did the scheduling, and as soon as I got on Texas State, the first thing he told me was that one of the parts of my job was I was going to be the scheduling coordinator. And so that's been a new task, and it's been fun being able to kind of control who we're going to play against, negotiate contracts and all that. And since being at Texas State, I've been able to travel all over the country, out of the country. We went to Costa Rica this summer on a foreign tour. I've been everywhere from New York to Idaho, South Dakota, and even Alaska. So it's been an amazing adventure so far. So, and definitely have grown in my basketball knowledge, and been able to network, and just been able to play on TV, play against Texas and Big Ten schools. It's been a great experience. There's always room for blue and gold. Blue and gold's in my heart. This is where I got the start of my career. This is where I've had friendships that I still, Lisa Martinez right here, and people that I still talk to, and family here. So blue and gold is always going to be in my heart, and there's always going to be a special place for Commerce, Texas in my heart. I was told about how he was before I got here. Roger Brown was assistant coach prior to me, taking his spot, and he told me about a halftime story where he came in and Couture kind of hit his head on the door a couple of times until the point where there was blood running down his forehead. And Coach Brown said, "Sam, I think you should stop. I think you should stop." Like, I'm not gonna stop. I'm not gonna stop. Like, I'm mad. And he's like, you got blood going down your forehead right now. And so those are kind of things I was expecting. Well, I told you about my first year we started out 0-5, and that story is playing in the back of my mind. And we're out at Ouachita Baptist in Arkansas, and we just lost a game. And he's walking down the stairs, and it's a little walk to our locker room, and I know that he's a little frustrated. And our grad assistant at the time is a guy named Stephen Pierce, and I take that back. It's Kyle May. And I told Kyle, I think you should kind of distance yourself for a little bit. And it's just his warpath. I'm trying to filter some things because Sam is a great guy, and I'd rather it be a legend and a myth, some of his stories, and let you guys think your own thoughts about it. But all I can say is that man is as intense as they get. I haven't seen him throw any chairs, but I have seen him challenge some guys. And I know one thing is I'll tell you a story if you don't mind. I know that I'm kind of going other places, but we're out at West Texas A&M, and not necessarily a funny story, but a story to his character and his legend, his myth. Um, Ronnie Morgan, there's always battles at West Texas. It's always competitive. You're always going to get fouled. They're never going to call it. And it got to the point where our one of our star players, Ronnie Morgan, got elbowed, and he's got blood coming down his face. And Sam Walker just leaves the bench, and I've never seen him leave the bench at all in my coaching career. I don't know whether to hold him back because I don't want him to get attacked, but our player's bleeding, and it just goes up, and he's getting chest to chest. He's getting intense with these guys, but he got on the court, and he's willing to fight for any of his players and defend any of his players, and I've seen him. That's just the one thing I can say about Sam Walker. I know everybody wants a comedy and wants a story about him, and there's a million comedic stories I can say about Sam Walker. But the one thing that I want to say is that no matter what, he's going to fight for his players. He's going to fight for what's right, and he's always going to do things the right way. And that's what I love about Sam Walker is win or lose, he's about doing things the right way. He's built this program on recruiting good student athletes. I mean, how many coaches have had two academic All-Americans and have had two in the same year? I mean, he's doing things the right way. And what was one of his worst seasons on the court last year, he was still able to have two academic All-Americans. And that's the type of coach he is. That's the type of players he wants to recruit in his program. And that's the legacy he's going to leave, is that not only is he a winner and somebody that is going to continue to build and expand this all-time winners coach and separate himself from other coaches in the history of the school, and not just basketball but all sports. But he's going to do it the right way. He's going to have the right people around him. He's going to have good people around him, and he's always going to give back to the community. And if I can leave anything and say one thing about Sam Walker is that right there.